Hey, Ange, babe. This is Dad. My voice is losing my voice. And it brought back a fond memory of you, honey. Um, maybe I don't know. It was pretty traumatic to me. I don't know if it was to you. You were you were what, honey, 14 years old or something? I don't know. Something like that, I think. And we went to my cousin's or my nephew's wedding, Vern's oldest son's wedding. It's the first wedding where there was dancing. His wife is a big, big, big dancer. I mean, and so we went there. Anyways, uh, and Angela, I don't know, she's 14, right? You have a daughter that you used to be 14. You remember you have a daughter that's. And so sometimes 14-year-old girls, I don't know, they're a little, you can't figure them out. Like you don't know what is going on, even if you were a 14-year-old. Imagine how hard it was on a man. Like he's never been a 14-year-old girl. So if you can't figure him out as the mom, you know what? The dad is just, I mean, dad does have advantage though. Does anybody know what the advantage the dad has? He's married to the teenage daughter's mother. So, so Angela, honey, this is, I'm a little concerned I'm going to lose my voice when I get to Denver tomorrow. So, anyways, so Angela, for whatever reason, she didn't feel like talking. Now, I don't want any of you women to take this wrong. Women can twist it all kinds of direction. So I was just being a good father, like, and saying, hey, if she doesn't want to talk, I'm not going to make her talk. Like this was not for selfish benefit. This is me not saying, dang, score. How can I get my wife and the other three? Like, would it be cool if this spread around like this? Would that be cool? Wasn't thinking that. But I don't know. She's 14, for crying out loud. She doesn't want to talk. Not a big deal, right? It's like she's not creating issues for people. She just doesn't want to talk. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I don't want to talk. So I don't know. So she's fine. And we get to the wedding, and all of a sudden, I'm telling you, everything hit the fan. Like, Rosanna was mad. I mean, she was really mad. Now, normally, I'm the only one that gets the benefit of that kind of love coming at me. But then she's like coming up and she's like, your sister, Kim? I'm like, whoa. So my sister, Kim, the youngest one, who's a medical doctor, she has three daughters. And they were, I think, around Angela's age too. So they're teenagers ish, I think. And, a good brother would obviously know their birthdays and everything. But obviously I'm not a good brother. Anyways, I mean, Rosanna was hopping mad. She was ready to rip her head off. I'm like, whoa, this is not like my wife at all. Like, what is going on? And then the other three sisters are lined up. Like, it's a 5-on-1 with my sister. Now, granted, she's a medical doctor. So, hey, if somebody gets hurt, it's fine. But what if it's her who's going to, like, I'm like, this is not a good situation. This is not a good situation. So I'm like, she's like, yeah, what she did to Angela, like, yep, take her out. Whoa, this is unusual. Like, so I'm like, well, let me talk to Angela. So Angela and I go over and we sit outside underneath the tree. And I said, hey, hon, what's going on? And she's like, well, Annie Kim got all ticked at me and she's yelling at me and stuff like that. And I'm like, for what, honey? She's like, because she said I lied. I'm like, okay, about what? She says, I lied about like I couldn't talk, or laryngitis or something. I'm like, really? You're joking me, right? It's like, no, Dad, that's what it was. I'm like it's just weird. It's just weird. It's just strange. It's the strangest thing in the world. So I'm trying to, obviously, because I'm a considerate brother and a kind man and everything else. I'm like, why would my sister be doing that? That makes no sense at all. Like, pick on somebody your own age, girl. Like, why are you going after my daughter? You know what? I'm gonna come and I'm gonna take you, your husband, and your three daughters out. I'll just wipe you. I'll nuke the whole thing. Mark bomb, everything. I'm like, well, maybe not. So I'm like, well, honey, I don't know. Like Annie Kim, I don't know what's going on in her life. My guess is, sweetheart, she's probably having problems with her daughter's lying. And so she somehow, I don't know what she did, but somehow she took what you said. Like, you didn't say anything. Did you write down? Did you? I have laryngitis. It is not. I don't know. Like, I didn't get into that. I'm like, this is kind of like, here you have a growing woman who's a medical doctor, for crying out loud, picking on a 14-year-old, my daughter. But, that's pretty normal. You know, a lot of people did that, a lot of adults. And so I'm like, I don't know, sweetheart, what's going on, but I don't know what's going on, honey. I don't know what's going on, sweetheart. And but I can take care of it for you if you want. Like, not a problem, sweetie. I can go in and I can take care of this situation. Not a problem. She's like, no, Dad, it's fine. A 14-year-old. Here you've got a growing woman who's a medical doctor and a 14-year-old. And the 14-year-old outperforms a good, solid Christian woman who's a medical doctor, who's a growing woman. She has more maturity. So Angela won my heart. I mean, just absolutely captivated. I'm like, she could have unleashed the Mark bomb. Man, she could have did that, but she didn't. And so I'm like, honey, you sure? You sure? Because I'm ready to go. Like, Dad, it's fine. Like, tap that bad boy down. And so I didn't. I just like, I said, are you okay, honey? And then I go back to Rosanna, the girl. Hey, I got this under control. I'm ready to go in. If I need to, I'll go in and I'll take care of this situation big time. But Angela, I talked to her and she's fine and everything's all good. Everything's good. And so I get, I have my daughter, three other daughters and wife. They're not they're not going to go ahead and they can criticize one another, but somebody else goes against them. Ooh, that can be a little nasty at times. So I'm fine. Everything's fine, and we're on the dance floor, and I'm dancing with my girls and stuff, and my wife, and it was cute and fun and everything. Kind of weird, but it was still cute and fun. And then I got to go off to the side, and my sister comes up beside me, and she's like, "I bet you're really ticked at me, aren't you?" I'm like, "Oh no!" like, I'm like, really, really, you're poking the bear, and I'm like, "For what?" like, you're really upset at me for what? Like, I act dumb, you know, for what happened with Angela. And I'm like, no, I'm good. It's fine. And then I think she said something else that I don't remember. And I'm like, so I'm like, Kim, I don't know. Just like that, verbatim, just like that. I said, Kim, I don't know. I don't know. Could have you handled it maybe a little differently? Like, I'm laughing, and it's like, like, huh, interesting. I just had an interesting thought.
What's your interesting thought, Mark?
I've never thought this thought before. I had an interesting thought. I wonder if women, when they know they've done something wrong, they don't want you laughing. Like,
You think,
see, I never thought this before. I mean, you'd think a woman whisperer would know this, but I don't. I'm like, huh. So, anyways, there was a little chuckle. It wasn't that big a deal. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm trying to go ahead and just gently massage this thing. Maybe you could handle it different. Holy cow, did she get mad? She's just like, like, and then she goes over, and this is what I saw. I'm sure it didn't happen this way, but in my mind's eye, she grabbed her husband, wham, grabbed her three daughters, wham, and dragged them out of the I don't think that's that. Pretty sure that's not what happened, but they all left. I'm like, what? Like, that's just weird. That's just weird. Like, it's just weird. Next day, we had a family reunion thing, and my sister Kim didn't show up. So I don't know. A few weeks before that, um, a few weeks, I was talking to some pastor guy, and I explained my situation about my dad and I. And he looks at me. He says, "Mark, it sounds like your dad is like an emotional midget." I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." Like he doesn't have the emotional capacity. Like he's got the emotional capacity, I don't know, of a 3-year-old or four. I'm like, okay. So what do I do about that? He said, well, maybe you've hurt him sometime. Okay. like, like maybe you hurt him sometime. And I'm like, okay. And he says, so what you could do is you could ask him, hey, Dad, have I ever hurt you? Is there anything I've done wrong? Anything I need to correct? Is there anything off? Like you guys thought I was strange before. This one's definitely getting published because it's just weird. It's just weird. So, my sister doesn't, show up. Nobody comes up to me and says, wow, Kim's not there. This is terrible. Which, again, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that, anyways. So we're out out by the lake, and my brother has a boat. And so I say, this is a great opportunity to ask my dad. Hey, Dad, I was talking to a gentleman the other day about you and I and maybe our connection or friendship or whatever. And he said that, maybe I've done something wrong. And, I've done something wrong and offend you or hurt you. So I was just curious, Dad, is there anything ever in our lives where I've done something wrong or offended you in any way? Anything that I need to do? And he looked at me and he says, well, maybe you can make things right with your sister. I'm like, well, I, I didn't say that because I'm very disciplined in my facial. But inside, I'm like, what? Dad, are you? One is, how do you know about it? Two is, I'm the one that's been wrong. My daughter has been wrong. My family's been wrong. How can you, like, Dad, you're a goofball. Like, for crying out loud. I said that all inside, but I didn't say any of this. And so the story gets better. You can't, this is one, every one of my kids have won my heart. I mean, they've all broken it to a billion pieces, a million times, and they continue to do it. But there are sometimes where I just look at my kids and say, man, you guys are amazing. And your grandparents, little wonky. And, both sides. And then relatives, aunts and uncles on both sides, a little wonky. Like, really? That happened? Yeah, yammer. So I'm like, that's just weird. That's just weird that my dad would do that. Like, I didn't even explain anything because I'm like, it doesn't matter with him. He takes, he just, you know, it's like the one who's being abused is the one that has maybe the biggest heart. So you go and mistreated, and he doesn't care about my daughter, you know. And then my mom, she jumps on the whole bandwagon, which she did more than once, and she to defend her daughter or daughters from being goofballs. Like it's just weird. Women are just weird. Anyways, so so I go ahead and I go home and it's like I go home and Angela, she and I are talking. I said, "Hey, honey, this and this is what Grandpa said." And I explained the whole thing. And I said, "I'm not asking you to go ahead and, apologize to Annie Kim. I'm not saying that because I think she's wrong." She's like, "Oh no, Dad, I'll call her and apologize." Does that remind you of a movie, Ford versus Ferrari, when he asked him, he kind of asked him to not, "Hey, can you go ahead and slow, like this is what they want you to do." And then after he did it, then he gets shafted. Like that's what I felt for my 14-year-old daughter. Like I'm just like and 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 so she actually called her and apologized. And it's like, I mean, and she was sincere. And I'm like, how does a 14-year-old girl do that? I don't understand. It's absolutely mind numbing to me that she would do that. Just mind numbing. And so I don't know, a few months later, it was my birthday. My sister called me, which she doesn't do on my birthday, which I'm fine. We're not big into birthdays. But she called me on my birthday and she said, "Hey, Mark, this is Kim." I said, "Hey," and she's saying happy birthday to me. Never did it before, never did it since. And after I got off, Rosanna's like, "Who is that?" I said, "That was my sister Kim." "Oh, what'd she want?" "She sang happy birthday." She's like, "That's interesting. Why would she do that?" I said, "I think that's a way, I think she's apologizing." I mean, what other explanation is there? Like, I think she's apologizing. Now that's a weird way to apologize. Like, wouldn't it be better just to say, "Hey, Mark, when I blew up on your daughter, I'm sorry. I could have handled that another way." I'm not judging her. I don't know what's going on in her life. I'm not judging her at all. But, I just, so now I put it on podcast for, all 8 billion people. Will my sister or any of her patients, hear? Hope not. Like, don't want to have that drama. Like her husband or 3 daughters or, other family members. I don't know. Hope nobody hears this. So don't pass this along to anybody. If you know any of my family, nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, do not pass this along. The point is that I adore you, Angela. Your dad just absolutely adores you. And you are an amazing young woman who have gone through hell and back, sweetheart. And people will judge you. And, you know, but you captured your dad's heart not only on that occasion, but on many different occasions, honey. So I love you, babe, a lot more than you can ever imagine.